Well, after 17 games, Stoke fans have now come to the conclusion it's time for not just Pelach out, but it's Walters out as well. Welcome back to Where Potters Walk. 20 minutes of 3 debates on Stoke City. Welcome. We're also talking about Ben Gibson and captaincy of Stoke City. And is the Championship feeling a little bit flat this season, or is football in general gone off? We're talking to Liam and Carl about all 3 of those debates. Thank you very much for joining us. Please drop us a subscribe if you haven't yet done so. We really want to see our channel completely grow. As miserable as it can be talking about Stoke City all the time, we really appreciate you coming on and joining us. Where do we start this week? Let's start with Cardiff, shall we? Welcome back, Carl. Hope you're feeling a bit better than last week, although watching Stoke's not very good for your health either, is it? At the moment. What did you make of the Cardiff game, Carl?
I find myself saying this most weeks, but it's up there with one of the worst performances I've ever seen from a Stoke side for a long time again. But I'm sure I say that every week. It was flat. They just weren't. The players weren't trying. It was just awful. I can't struggling pick out any positives, and the fact that we nicked, because we did, absolutely stole a point off Cardiff, just papers over the cracks of how bad it really, really was.
Liam, he's had a go at the players, hasn't he? Well, if you can call it a go, but he's actually called them out in his interview. Is that the beginning of the end for a manager when they do that generally?
I think so. I've never known a manager come back from their own fans singing that you're getting sacked in the morning. I've seen it several times now down Stoke. I can't see him coming back from it. And without being, I like the guy, but he is so out of his depth. He shouldn't have been given the job. I don't even think they've interviewed him. I really don't. I think Walters has asked around and said, do you know any up-and-coming coaches? And people he knows have gone, that Pelic at Norwich might be able to do a good job. It's so out of its depth, it's unbelievable that he can't compete with the level that we're at. And it's not really a pile on him, it's Walters' fault. He shouldn't have even been given the job. I've never seen anybody play 4-4-2 with inverted wingers before. Like, you 4-4-2, your width is from your wingers, and all I always want to do a cut inside. It was bad. It was bad on Saturday. It was actually uncomfortable to be in the ground for the first time in a long time. It was actually quite uncomfortable.
Yeah, many have said that. This is AI generated, but you get the idea. Pelican Walters out. Miles says, absolute clowns. Can't set up a team to save his life. 3 wins and 1 good performance in 17. Just the 19 shots today. Not too bad. Get him out ASAP. And here's the problem for him, Carl, isn't it? Because actually, there is actually some decent managers floating around, not doing anything at the moment. Mark Robbins, of course, as some Stokes fans have already said, get him in. Get him in now. Gary O'Neill has been sacked. From Wolves today, there's another possible shout. So Pelach is on dangerous ground here, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, absolutely. I mean, if Walters wants to try to save any of his credibility, I know it's a big, bold thing, and I am sick of the manager merry-go-round, but if Walters wants to try to save a bit of credibility, he should have been on the phone to Robbins now, in my opinion. What our club needs at the minute is somebody with experience, somebody with a bit of nous about him, somebody who will get into the players. He can set them up in a system that suits the players and make us solid, because, like I say, every single game, too, you're looking into double figures every game for shots at our goal. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, if you haven't got Victor Johansson in goal, we'd be rock bottom without a shadow of a doubt at the minute. The amount of shots that are hitting the goal is frightening. So, yeah, I think he's treading a tightrope, and like I say, there's some really good managers available.
Ivan says, get gone, Narcis. You're making me hate the club I love. So many similar comments like that. You're out of your depth. He was an absolute fraud. Wayne says, as you guys said, he's lost the fans. Watch today's performance. He's lost the team. He's slagged the team off in the post-match interview. He's done. It's just a matter of time now. If he wants to keep his job, he best be on the phone to Robbins and Cooper, offering them the moon on a stick. Liam, do you disagree with any of that on
there? I find it hard to disagree. And like I said before, this isn't I've got no problem with Narcis Pelach as a person. I think he'll be a decent coach in the future. He was the wrong person at the wrong time for this club. It's just like I say, it's so out of its depth. It really is. It boggles the mind to watch. And now the team didn't look like they were playing for him, which is a minimum. And if you can't get him to work hard for you, it's already gone, in my opinion. Teaching teams how to play tactically and players what to do, that's something different. But after 17 games to be openly calling out your players for not working hard enough, he's pretty much said Manu has come off the pitch without an injury. That's what it sounded like to me when he's saying to him, well, he seemed all right, and then 2 minutes later he's gone off. It's bad all round, and we've waited too long before. For me, no amount of players he gets in January will change his tactics on the pitch. We cannot wait until after he gets players in to then get rid of him. I'd get rid of him now. I'd get a new man in and start afresh. I know the managerial merry-go-rounds are paying, Carl, I agree with, but this isn't the same as what it has been in the past. This man is not at the right level. We're already going, well, there's probably 3 teams below us who are worse. So
it's going to take Jonathan Walters to swallow a massive amount of pride, though, here, Carl, isn't it? For a man who, sacked Schumacher. Let's not forget, Schumacher wasn't doing anything particularly wrong. It might not have been brilliant, but those players were playing for him, we think.
Yeah.
You look defensively solid. So it's going to take... It's very embarrassing for him, isn't it?
Yeah, like I say, I think his credibility that he's got with our club is for what he did in a Stoke kit. He was a great player and he was always working hard, but I hate seeing it because I'm a massive fan of him. He's tarnishing his credibility at the minute, and he is going to have to swallow a big chunk of humble pie, I think, for keep his credibility. He's going to have to hold his hands up, say, Luke, probably made a mistake. I am new in this sort of job. I'll hold my hands up, but this is what I'm going to do. And he needs to get somebody in, like we've said, somebody that can actually set the team up and make the team challenge a bit. He's going to have to do it, unfortunately for him.
Okay. I know we can't talk about swapping managers every 5 minutes, but you're heading down, aren't you? Genuinely, with the performances and the fact that he's lost the fans and seemingly now lost the players. No one's ever been able to turn a situation like this around at a club, Liam, not that I'm aware of.
No, for me, it's already done. I personally don't think he'll be at the Sheffield Wednesday game. Something he might get one more. I said when I first come on here, when they got Walters in sporting directors, that we'd have to let him do what he needs to do. You've got to give him the opportunity. But the worst thing is, because we don't know what happened with Schumacher, it just seems like a massive ego boost for Walters. That's why he got rid of him. It wasn't his man. He wanted his man. Like we've said before, Schumacher wasn't great, but it felt stable at least, which is more than we've had for a good while. And getting rid of Schumacher how he did, it had to work straight away, which is already massive pressure on a man who's never managed before.
Yeah.
So it just baffles the mind. It's just another mental decision from this absolute mental club.
Let's switch gears a minute then and talk about Gibson. Now, he did come up with the winner. I think it's the first time ever that I've seen a player who scores, that comes up with the equaliser, beg pardon, and then not for the fans to be heralding him on social media afterwards. Nick says if Gibson was honest, he'd step down. He's been made captain and therefore undroppable under Pelach. We're off to hell in a handcart with him, making decisions at the back, that's for certain. KOK says he's a massive part of our problems. I can't think of a worse centre-back in the last 20 years. 3-year deal at the age of 32 is a shambles. And IB says, why are you openly not performing, Ben? Oh, you're the club captain. Lead by example, do not put less than half-assed performances in. So, is the captaincy of Stoke City up for grabs, Carl, for you? And should it be?
Yeah, it should be, but who do you give it to on that pitch? I mean, I'm looking at the team and I don't know. I couldn't pick a leader out there. As soon as the players start dropping when they concede, I don't see anybody really walking around and trying to G everybody up. Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's any leaders in this side at all at the minute. I don't see anybody shouting and bawling. I think probably the closest, and I know I put his name out for pretty much everything, but is Victor Johansson. You see him running to Pelic if something's going wrong, and you see him instructing people on free kicks when we're at the other end taking the free kick. But yeah, you just need a leader. You need somebody that can grab the team and say, listen, let's get going, or pick your man up, or whatever. Just need a leader. And you need somebody that's pretty consistent. You know what I mean? It's if your leader is trying to chase the team's top goal scorer, Tom Cannon, because with his own goals he's scoring is unbelievable. What sort of example does that set to the young lads? They'll think, all right, week in, week out, he isn't performing, he's a captain, so what does that mean to me?
Liam, what's your thoughts on Ben?
I think he wasn't I don't think he was the main problem against Cardiff. What the thing is with Gibson, he scores a lot of own goals because he tends to try and be in the way of a lot of stuff, which is fair enough. But he does have these times that as soon as the team's head goes, he goes with it probably more than anyone. He'll just lump balls off the pitch and what have you. But it's Stoke again. It's given a 3-year deal to a 32-year-old. Like I said to you so many times on here, we've been relegated 7 years now. We've paid money for one centre back, and that was Ben Wilmot. In that whole time, and now he's playing right back. We keep getting half our centre back signings instead of just going out and spending £5 million, which we should have done years ago on a centre back. £5 million centre back in the Championship to change the season, and I don't know why. And I've said it before to you, a club that is not known for scoring goals, we never have been. We've never been known for scoring goals. Spend so much money on crap forwards and midfielders and never get the defence right. It boggles the mind. If you ask Stoke fans now, we'd say we need, first of all, anything. We need a right back, a left back, and 2 centre backs. Well, maybe 1 centre back. Ashley Phillips is decent, but Tottenham are going to take him back in January. So it's just all mental decisions. The hierarchy all the way through this, no matter who it's been, have been mental.
We are going to make a positive Stoke video. We're going to make it next week when you go to Sheffield Wednesday, who are terrible at Hillsborough, and you win away under a caretaker manager, whoever that's going to be, and Mark Robbins is about to be appointed. That's we need to manifest that. A good Christmas present for all Stoke fans.
It might be under a caretaker. I can't see it under Pelach if he's there. I cannot see. Honestly, we're defensive whilst being wide open. We don't go forward and we're wide open at the back. I don't quite know how he's doing it, to be honest. Cardiff battered us second half. They were by far the better team. They've not won a Wales season. It boggles the mind.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Our final debate this week on Where Potters Walk, and like we said before, if you haven't yet subscribed, please do so, is about just football in general. Now, you're probably the worst fans to put this to, about whether the Championship's feeling a bit flat at the moment. But there are statistics that say this is the worst Championship for goals. This is the worst Championship for excitement so far, and it's feeling a little like it hasn't lit up yet. First of all, A, do you agree with that? And B, if so, why? Carl?
To be honest with you, after I watch Stoke, I switch off. I try not to take no notice of any football, but yeah, I'd say this season is a season. Usually I take note of what's going on in the Championship. I think the kickoff times have been messed about that much by Sky Sports. You've got 12:30 kickoff left, right, and centre. I mean, Boxing Day we're playing at 8:00 at night. So I think the crowds are suffering because of that. I think fans aren't turning up because either they can't make it. And I know it's a cliche saying, but without fans, football's nothing, is it? So if your atmosphere is dwindling, the numbers are dwindling, perhaps that's got something to do with it, because the players ultimately, I know this is very rich coming from a Stoke fan, but the players need the fans. And if the fans aren't turning up, then games can go flat, and ultimately the season will be affected by that, I'd say.
Yeah. This was a tweet, and this was really quite sad in one point. Jack says it was still a crap result, probably just about saves his job for another week. It might be the first time we've scored an equaliser at the death, and I genuinely couldn't care less. I don't want to twist this back to Stoke in general, but is football in a bit of a lull for you, Liam, in general, or is it the Championship?
It is for me. And I think the main problem for me is everybody tries to play the same way. It's just the same teams playing the same way in every league. You know, you watch League Two games, they're sitting about with it at the back on cow fields, basically trying to get the ball under control, and you're like, what are you doing here? My most enjoyable game at home this season was when we played Millwall under Neil Harris, and that's because there was contrasting styles. We were trying to play the ball around, and they're getting the ball forward quickly. It was quite an entertaining game. Apart from that, Derby come down here, they try and play the ball around the back. They couldn't complete 5 passes. And you're just watching it thinking, why? It's the same now. Watching Stoke, we'll pass the ball 15 times in a triangle, and then when we actually need to lay the ball off to someone, we'll keep hold of it. It's just like it's just watching the same teams play each other. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, I think thoroughly agree. Let us know what you think in the comments, and whether you can see Cooper or Harris. Sorry, Cooper or Harris. It could be Harris, couldn't it? I suppose you might. Hey, that's Neil Harris and Stoke. That's a match made in heaven. Just accidentally stumbled across that. Cooper, sorry. In next week, you're going to be in work tomorrow on Monday, aren't you? As we're recording this on Sunday, and you're going to be look at your phones at about 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock to see a club statement. Carl, do you think?
You'd like to think so, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Like I say, that time the Walters sacked Schumacher, that one come out of nowhere. It was sort of one of them. You just refresh your phone and you think, what? You thought it was one of the parody accounts. But hopefully, yeah. I mean, it's sad, but hopefully, you see that corner flag and this statement put out by the club. Sort of dinner time tomorrow, and you'd like to think that. As I said, if Walters has got anything about him, he should have been on the phone after that game, after the Cardiff game, putting the feelers out there, seeing who's available and taking interviews, really.
Okay. Mark Robbins won't have an interview. That was his deal at Hull, by the way. So if you want him, he'll only come if he doesn't have to interview for it.
I don't think we interview anyway.
Right, thank you very much, you two. We'll have a positive one next week. I promise we'll be positive, whatever the result. Right, see you next week. Enjoy your trip to Sheffield, and we'll see you in 7 days' time. Last one before Christmas. Hallelujah.